He's coming in all the way from Israel. Adi, introduce yourself again really quickly.
Yes, absolutely. Well, my expertise in distributed data, everything related to processing data at scale, compute, distributed, building machine learning models on huge chunks of data. So this is my expertise. I work a lot with, Apache Spark, Kafka, Cassandra, all this cool open source that you might have heard of that relates to the distributed data world.
And Adi, as a senior cloud advocate here with us at Microsoft, it's awesome to have you on the show, especially because there was a huge announcement yesterday that Azure Synapse has now gone general availability, and Purview was also announced. I usually don my blazer for the news, but today wore my Azure Synapse hoodie to show support for this initiative. Adi, what is the big deal about Azure Synapse?
Well, first of all, it's a multi-year project that the team has been working on, and there's a big team that works on it. And one of the great things that they bring to the table is the ability to run limitless analytics. And this is unique because it's not always available for us within a click of a button. And we also have the serverless SQL built in, so I don't have to provision my own SQL pools. I can, go to the Synapse Studio and click on, put in my query, click on run on the built-in serverless SQL and get results. And this is one of the unique things that Synapse gives us as a data developers, or if we're interested to know more about what's going on with our data, or even as business analysts. I mean, there's some data that sits there on the data lake, and I want to be able to look at it. But sometimes it's in a format that I can't really see in my eyes, right? So it's not a CSV. It can be a Parquet. It can be something called Avro. Who knows, right? And I want to go and take a look in an organized manner into the data and understand a little bit what's going on, so later I can start in building my analytics strategy into the data. And one of the great things they talked about in the announcement when they announced Synapse GA is actually how Microsoft is using Synapse. So Amy Ho, who is leading one part of the business at Microsoft, she basically took us through a journey telling us how Synapse was used to do smarter, more efficient analytics inside Microsoft. So basically what you said, hey, we have an OK system, but now that we have this tool to do huge scale analytics, we turned all the insights, all the OK insights that we usually could get into great insight that can actually impact the business and impact how we work. And this is really interesting to see how Microsoft use its own product to help the business grow and help everyone, all different teams, to get this insights and do this analytics. It's a huge scale. So it services that we're super excited that it's finally out and it's finally available for everyone. So it's not only for us in Microsoft, like everyone in the world can now go and use it. And that's what it means to be generally available. I mean, everyone can use it now, that it's super exciting, and it connects the data pipelines through the Azure Factory, and we can plug in the data later on into Power BI so we can do more extensive analytics there. It has SQL pools that we can provision as well. It has a Spark cluster. I mean, if you want to do some lightweight operations with Spark, then we can do that as well. It's really interesting. And one of the key things that I actually want to share, so let me just share my screen. All right, so this is my screen. I'm here in the Azure portal, and I want to show you the Synapse Studio. So right here, I have this box where I can click it. And once I click it, it's going to take me to the Synapse Studio. And one of the greatest things in the Synapse Studio is the ability for us to learn how to run SQL, how to use the notebooks, how to create the different data pipelines directly from the environment. So here inside, you can see this box that says Learn, and I can click it. And inside, it's going to take me to something called the Knowledge Center. And in the Knowledge Center, I can either use samples immediately, browse the gallery, or tour the Synapse Studio. So let's take a look at the gallery and what we have there. Inside the gallery, I have the data set. So if I want to start working with data, like let's say I don't have any data, I just want to get a feel of what it means to do analytics, then I can click one of the data that I want to work with and then can click continue, and it's going to take me into how I can link this data to my Synapse workspace. Now, hey, that's great. Now that I have a little bit of data, I can start playing with it, right? So I can go to the notebooks, and let's say I want to use PySpark. I want to work with Python Spark, but I don't know anything about that. So I can click here, and I can click continue, and it's going to take me to a tutorial that was already made for me. So I can already take advantage and learn from it. So this is fantastic. I mean, if I'm a new developer, I can start learning directly from the environment, and this is really awesome. Same goes for SQL. I want to learn how to query SQL. I want to learn how to do security with SQL, right? Not a lot of people knows how to do security with SQL, and it's like crucial. So clicking on it can take me on how I can do security, how I can grant permission, how I can work with that. And the last bit of it is the pipelines. So I want to build pipelines, but let's say I don't know what I'm doing, right? I need to do data pipelines. I need to move data from one place to the other, copy, or do all of that. So this clicking on one of the tutorials is going to open a template with a UI for me that I can, without writing any code, I can create the pipeline of the data and move it from place to place.
And that's a big deal, right? It's the enablement of bringing in that data. Not being a developer is a huge opportunity for anybody to gain access to the data to do analytics on.
Exactly. It's a big deal. Up until recently, you had to have some programming knowledge, or, you had to know very SQL in depth to do this kind of things.
Right.
And now you can actually use the UI. So it's a no-code, low-code approach where from the UI directly, you can build the data pipelines and you can start moving the data from place to place. So you don't necessarily need, let's say, if you're using the command line, or if you're writing code or anything of that. So you don't need to know that. All you need to know is to take a look at the UI and fill in the different fields and see how it looks right here on this part, in the preview, and start running it.
And I love that it's that graphical representation. So it gets rid of a lot of barriers in terms of, well, I'm not a coder, I can't do this. It's something where if you understand what you're trying to accomplish and you have access to that data through Synapse to piece it together in terms of your analytic work, making it easier for you to do that and making yourself self-sufficient to do that, that's a big deal.
It is. And I want you to take a look at another great feature, and this is the serverless SQL pool. So let me open the script itself, and what you're going to see that it's poured everything here on my notebook, so I can already start playing with it. And let's say I want to run this query, and this query are bringing open row set is going to bring a data, my data from a Parquet file that is on my data lake, somewhere on my data lake, and I can start running it with the built-in SQL. And the built-in SQL, this is my serverless SQL, so I don't have to provision a SQL pool. I can already start using the serverless SQL directly from here. And this is really awesome because sometimes I have data that is at rest, what we usually call offline data, that I just, I want to start working with it, but I don't necessarily have already all the tools in place. And Synapse allows me to start running with it and start doing it. I can also do, more in-depth analytics, but I can also use it. So I can use it as an advanced DBA, and I can use it as a beginner as well to kind of go through the data and start to get a feel of how the data is. All right, so this is the Synapse workspace. Also here, there's a lot of cool features. So you can take a look at like the SQL request that I was running, who was running it, how long it took. Now it's running, so it takes a little bit more, but here you go. How long it took, how much data I processed. So later on, I can actually monitor what happens to my data and where it went.
And that's huge from an IT pro perspective, and the fact that I have a single pane of glass that goes through the understanding of all the data that's being accessed. And I can troubleshoot if there's an issue in terms of data latency, or are individuals who are supposed to be accessing that data accessing it, or has it been being done by sources that shouldn't be accessing that data. It's a great way to have a visualization of what's going on with your organization's data.
Right, exactly. And it actually takes me to the next announcement.
Yeah.
The Azure Purview, which gives you exactly that. So it's a unified data governance service that helps us manage all our govern our data. If it can be on premise, it can be on multi-cloud, it can be on a SaaS software as a service data that we're using, and it's really important for us to. It helps us track the data lineage as well, and it's really important for us, especially when we're going into regulations and we need to adhere to things like GDPR, or where's the data, where does it come from, and many more related to that. And this is still, this is just announced to be in public preview, so it's all new and exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to see how it's going to grow and evolve.
Actually, in the chat room too, Paul Jensen made mention that, yeah, they're excited for Purview to go GA. The ability to have governance over access of the data itself, and who has rights to said data. I love the fact that this is integrated with Microsoft Information Protection as well. So it governs over, do you have access to the data? Are you allowed access to the data? Is this PI data that you should not have access to? And the ability to have that governance in a day and age where data is king and data is the new currency. It's hugely beneficial and very smart of Microsoft to do it in such a way where you're governing over who has access to that data. It's not just carte blanche access everywhere.
Exactly. Just like you mentioned, data is the new gold, and now we need to make it secure, governed, and make good use of it as well. And we're going to see how it's going to impact everything that we do, from insights to machine learning. And I'm saying machine learning because one of the biggest challenge of machine learning is ethics and AI, how we develop good machine learning modules, that are going to give us services with ethics in mind. And one of the way to do it is by making sure we have enough data. Our data is a variety is good enough. It's kept enough, and it's secure as well, and we can build good machine learning models. But hey, all of that we need to do at scale. So it's not only processing this 1 gigabyte or a few megabyte data that we're processing. It's actually processing it in a huge scale and doing all this analytics and building this data pipelines over terabyte or petabyte of data to enable better products, smarter products, and also personalized products.
And it's awesome that, Microsoft has got the forethought to start with the ethical use of data right from the get-go in terms of the entry point, right all the way through the analytics piece, through the machine learning aspect, like the whole gambit, not just at the end point when the data comes out in terms of the response. Ethics is being utilized throughout, which Purview enhances that ability to govern over, which is awesome. I also wanted to share a quick tutorial that was actually launched yesterday alongside the general availability of Synapse that takes into consideration ethics when doing data analytics. The Modern Workplace team, in partnership with CMS Medicare, have created a step-by-step tutorial to get you started on your adventure for the adoption of Azure Synapse. And what I love about this is, again, to your point of ethical use of data, taking into consideration of the availability of said data. In this case here, it's Part D data, which means all PI information has been stripped from this data, and it is made available through public domain for access of this data to run this Synapse step through or tutorial. And so the availability of this in public source, we've made the link available into IT Ops Talk for those to go through. I love, there's resources like this from passionate individuals like yourself that are sharing their learnings with the world. Organizations are also sharing the ability and capability of adopting these services. There's the services that are made available on the solution itself. So in Azure Synapse, as you've shown in your demo, there's a templates made available that you can walk through and learn that way. And that's how I learn. I learn by doing. So it's a great opportunity to have that resource, and it's free. All the tools that we're sharing here is completely free to do so. We'll also have another resource at the end of the show that producer Pierre will walk through. But it's awesome to see how much of an uptake there is in terms of the tools being available. And again, not just limited to developers. This is something where anybody can participate. If you have that idea, if you have that need of access to data as long as you're authorized to do so, and the data itself is used in an ethical way. The ability to really flesh out your ideas, flesh out your theories, to come up with a response or resolution at the end of the analytical experience or project.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the past, when you used to talk about data engineering or sometimes IT pros even, and you can elaborate about that more. It was always like the second phase. You have to be a software developer first. You have to know how to write code, at least like even if it's simple code. You have to have this skill, and only after that you can take the next step and turn into a data engineer, because you have to write the script and you have to write the code to create the pipelines, and you have to write the code to do the analytics. And there's a lot of things going on into it. And now it's exciting to see how things change and how we actually bring more opportunities to more people with these tools. I truly like the no-code, low-code approach, because it means, if you want to, you don't have to learn how to program. I mean, if you want to learn how to program, go for it. But if you don't want to, and you still want to be to work in tech and to create great products and to work with data, you can. And this is great. I think we opened the door to many more people that can join us and help and build great products.
Now, it's so awesome to have you on the show, because we love it when we have experts on the show that can actually really go through the paces of what the new services are when they're launched. I wanted to also bring to light your event, the upcoming event that you have in regards to the Create Data event. Could you share with the audience what that is and what's in it for those that participate?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing it up. So this coming Monday, we have a Create Data event. It's going to be 3 hours of conversation and celebrations of everything related to data. And we have multiple speakers from the community, from Microsoft, MVPs as well. And we're going to talk about open source like Apache Spark and Data Lake, and then we're going to dive into how to pick the right distributed database. We know there's a long list of databases that we can use, so we're going to have a conversation on that as well from top-notch experts in the community. We're going to talk about how to drive data culture. I mean, how do we even start the process of turning our teams and turning our companies into data culture, especially in the world of remote everything. And then we're going to talk about the journey to the modern warehouse. What does it mean? How do we go from it? And we're going to top off the whole event with a workshop about serverless SQL, how you can calculate the costs of serverless SQL as well for your organization, and how you can start understanding and managing a little bit the different things related to serverless SQL. And we're also going to dive into some improvement and how you can tweak your SQL queries to get better performance. So I'm super excited for that event, and we have great speakers like Holden Crow and Tim Berglund and Jack Laskowski and many more people that are going to be there. The event is free, but you should sign up and register before, so you'll have the ticket. And for
So, sorry, producer Pierre is asking what the URL is because he wants to sign up himself. If you want to check out and register for the event, it's available on IT Ops Talk on the latest AzUpdate blog. We've shared the links on there. If you have not gone to the blog yet, you can also go to createdata.splashdata.com to register. Adi, I love the fact that this is an event that's available to everybody. Like, as you mentioned, this whole solution is a low-code solution or no-code solution. So don't be limited in the fact that say, I'm not a data scientist or I'm not a developer, so I shouldn't be at this event. If you have an idea in terms of what you can do with your organization's data, go to it. Get some ideas in terms of how you can get started. The people that'll be at the event, like-minded like Adi, and their capabilities of explaining, this is what this is available to you. This is, how you get started. Definitely take advantage of this event. It's exciting that it's around the corner. It's on Monday. If you haven't registered for it yet, as Adi mentioned, it's completely free. So definitely, take a second and jump in and register.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to see it there, and we're going to have a Q&A as well, so you can ask our speakers questions, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we also have some prizes for you. So yeah.
Oh, prizes are always good. So let's continue on. Next event wanted to bring attention to is the all-around Azure a beginner's guide. I'm going to say a beginner's guide to IoT. And the reason why I say beginner's guide, I know it says developer. Anybody can participate. I'm actually speaking at this event, and I'm not a developer, as you know, but I was able to share out a couple of solutions made available through IoT to this event. It's another great beginner event, and I'm also, a big fan of data analytics. I'm not as proficient as Adi is, but it's something that, I'm at the endpoint capturing that data to feed up into the cloud, to feed up into the databases. I'm definitely going to be looking into Azure Synapse. I've not dabbled in it in depth before, but definitely the CMS Medicare tutorial for me is an interesting one, and the other resources that Adi had shared. This is a great way to start. What is your starting point in terms of data capture and what these devices are capturing? And I love this initiative. It's coming up in January, but you can start registering for it today as well. To get on to this event. Next, the Microsoft Learn module of the week, and here we'll call out producer Pierre, if you can come on and share with us the new module or new learning path that we're talking about today.
Hey, wait. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, because I normally turn off my mic from the stream so I can yell in your ear of things that you're supposed to say or time that we're almost short of, but we're good now. Module of the week this week is and of course, switch screens, is the Realize Integrated Analytics Solution with Azure Synapse. So it's a learning path that will take you through all the components that you use to build a modern data warehouse through advanced analytical solution. And you can do that hands-on, step-by-step in a sandbox in order to help you learn how to leverage the technology. So it's a full learning path. So there's, I think, 4 or 5 different units that are comprised, or modules that are comprised of different units. And it covers a whole range of, the whole range of what you need in order to just get going and start working with Azure Synapse Analytics.
So what's great about this is another tool offered through Microsoft Learn that allows you to go through hands-on experience in adopting Azure Analytics through Azure Synapse. And again, what I love about this solution is it's completely free, but you are using full Azure services to enable this. And it does it in such a way where you're harnessing sandbox technology, which means you don't even have to set up an Azure account. The account is actually set up for you. You just need a Microsoft account to get started. And once you've signed in with your Microsoft account, you sign into Microsoft Learn, you spin up the Azure Sandbox to craft your implementation of Azure Synapse and start doing analytical data with the prescribed data that's made available for you. I love that there's numerous ways to bring you through steps, everything from inside of the Azure Synapse portal itself to the tutorials that are made available by the community, to the Microsoft Learn implementations as well, made available for organizations and individuals to take advantage of. Adi, is there any other resources that are available in the event coming up on Monday too? Anything else that those that are looking at adopting Azure Synapse or testing out Purview that they can look at for a resource?
Good question. I am myself still looking into Purview, but I do know there is on the tech community, there's a Synapse group, and there's a lot of good content there that people put together, all the way from using PowerShell to CLIs to putting together different architecture and pipelines. And there is also a page for demos, so you can actually take a look and get some inspiration on how you can build your architecture, what are the things you can do, different aspects, different areas and angles of the Synapse, how you can plug it together with the Power BI, and many more fun things for you to learn.
Now, Adi, So we have a question in the chat. Unfortunately, we only have 2 minutes left. Adi, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you? And maybe they can actually ask that question on the chat itself.
Yeah, happy to chat with you over Twitter direct messages. So Twitter DMs, my DMs are always open, and I'm always happy to get questions and help you folks skill up and learn and start working with Synapse or any Azure data technology.
And your Twitter handle, sorry. You can share.
At AD Application.
Perfect. And if you want to get a hold of producer Pierre, you can get a hold of him on social at Wired Canuck. And for some reason, if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on Twitter as well, at Wireless Life. Adi, it was so awesome to have you on the show today. I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had. Thank you for your patience. Love to have you on the show again for the next announcements that do come out. Do reach out to Adi if you have any questions in terms of Synapse and Purview for adoption. Everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next Friday.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Woo, right on the nose.
Whew. Yeah.
You're still live.
Whew.